take you to the point that you should be comfortable with all the ecosystem components, how to start working with them, and if needed in your if you're looking for a enhancement in your career, or if you want to learn a new technology, in either way, this course will help you in enhance your skill sets and take you to the next level. So basically, we'll start off with the
Madhu, I have a question. Actually, I am from EDW background. I don't have any knowledge about big data except hearing from some other people. So, do you think I can cope up with the course, or else?
Exactly. In the last 3 batches, we have participation from the EDW, and that is what is meant for. Initially, when Hadoop started, it was demanding people should have programming expertise. But now many systems have emerged on top of Hadoop. So that need has been erased now. So it could be any player in your domain. Even if you are a simple business analyst, doesn't know anything about technology, still you'd be able to work with Hadoop. So Hadoop got many flavors and many offerings called ecosystems. So depending upon your role of your job, you could choose that thing and be more specialized in that.
Okay then. I'm basically an ETL developer. So
ETL, right? You said?
Yeah, ETL developer. I mean, basically I work on Amnesia or Informatica, those kind of tools. So
right. So do you write? Do you do some scripting jobs?
Usually it's like a Amnesia has a drag and drop tool. It's like a GDU. So it's like more of a SQL thing. You design the graphs and extract the data from the different sources and load it into the backend database. So is Hadoop the same kind of tool, or else this is a whole different one?
Little deviates from that. See, Amnesia is like more of an orchestrator, right?
Oh yes.
So you have you could have many sources. So basically, you orchestrate them how data should flow, and how the refinement should happen, how the filtration should happen.
Yes.
And finally, you will reach the end goal, and also you'll define that where that end product or end data set should dump in.
Yes.
So that is more of in the realm of RDBMS. Everything, the whole thing circles around RDBMS thing. You have tables everywhere. You have data sources everywhere, and data sources would have tables. You have tables everywhere. So being in a same homogeneous world, that orchestration is quite easy to accomplish. But when you come to Hadoop, the landscape is totally different here. It's not that tools are not there. Tools are there. But before you start playing with the tools, you should understand the landscape here. In the Amnesia, the landscape is purely its RDBMS world, where everything is structured. There is a definition for the schema. Only thing you have to understand the definition, the relation between the entities, and rest of things you could do it quite easily once you got the theme there. Whereas in the Hadoop, the landscape is entirely different. We are talking about we are getting into a zone where the horizons are not, you can't see the horizon. So such a vast scope you are looking at it. Yet there are tools to simplify them. So if you want me to compare Amnesia with Hadoop, this is not apples and oranges comparison. Two different things.
Oh, okay.
But again, now Hadoop is evolving so rapidly that it is simplifying the lot of complexity in its whole to a great extent.
Okay. So Hadoop is not. So that means it is not a structured data. That's what I understood from what the conversation from.
Not only for structured, it is also for unstructured.
Okay, it's for structured and also for unstructured data.
Exactly. Both.
Okay.
So structured, so far we have seen, we have so many sophisticated tools with us. We don't have to all the time go back to Hadoop. Okay. But it is the need of the hour to handle the unstructured data. That's when Hadoop is a kind of leader.
Okay.
Otherwise, why do organizations want to invest so many millions in a stack, in Hadoop, when they don't see value? So the value what the executives see is that today there are a lot of production of unstructured data, and we don't have that efficient frameworks to handle the unstructured data to that extent. I would be touching upon the concepts in a minute. You will get the landmarks there, what I am talking about.
Yeah, thank you, Mudai, for the introduction. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, welcome. So this is the flow. Definitely, we should be having more interactiveness, and we'll be touching upon more of. I would focus on the conceptual part first. You should have a right visualization first, what you are going to learn, and then there are tools to do everything. So tool learning will be quite simpler once you have conceptual background. Okay, so this is a structure like this. So first we'll cover one day for the big data concepts. Let us define the big data first. What is that we're going to deal with that? So having said the context, we'll move on to the Hadoop part. Why Hadoop is the Hadoop only the player in the big data, or do you have any other things? So why people are talking more about Hadoop? What the significance of Hadoop in the big data world? So those things we'll talk about. And second thing is that getting into Hadoop. So once we get a sense that Hadoop is the popular ecosystem, popular framework on the big data, let us delve into Hadoop and see what the essential components in the Hadoop. So these are the ones. One is the Hadoop has a file system, and Hadoop has a computation framework called MapReduce. So we will go in depth about these two. And the next thing is, once you have the initial outlook about the Hadoop, now let us look at the sophistication in the Hadoop. So this is like you are learning a low-level thing. Sometimes you might get a complete picture about it or not. But what makes you exciting is the third step, is that the ecosystem components which make your job easy. Let us say if you come from ETL background, Pig is the one that make you happier. And if you are more from the business analyst job, mostly you write queries and frame some reports. That's when Hive is going to help you. And if you are really a developer kind of thing, wanted to deal with huge data sets and yet wanted to have a excellent responsive times, low latency activities, then you should look at the HBase as data store like that. And you are more of a data integrator, wanted to primarily you would more look into data loading into the system, data moving systems, data moving across the systems. You would be fascinated to see the Hadoop scoop here. And then the third, the current generation is that if you are like looking at a sources where there is no schema at all, unstructured data, semi-structured data. In that sense, still yet you want to pull data and wanted to accumulate them so that you can do some more of refinement in the data. Then Flume is the source, Flume is the framework that can deal. And again, each one has their own learning curves, but somebody would like to have a comprehensiveness across the frameworks. Then there is one more aggregator in the Hadoop system called Hue, that is UI for the frameworks. Each framework is a mammoth. So if you might get scared about some of the components here by looking at the face of it, but they are not actually. They are quite simpler if you understand the concept. But people who don't want to get into the actual nitty-gritty of it, still want to get a flavor of all the ecosystems, then Hue is the framework that has a web-based interactiveness. You can be playing using Hue. You can access any of the components at ease, and the learning is also quite simpler with Hue. This is the Hue here talking about. So I would be discussing about these 6 ecosystem components apart from the the core things like HDFS and MapReduce. So 8 such systems you would learn in this course content. And again, so that's not the end of it. Once you learn the 8, I would also discuss about the new generation in the Hadoop. That naturally every framework or every big framework will undergo a transformation at a certain point of time. So Hadoop is there almost for last 8 years, 7 years exactly, precisely. So it did take place, evolution did take place in Hadoop, and when new things came into picture. So once you are looking for a looking technology as a enhancement in your career, next level of your job, you should know the Hadoop 2.0 concepts thoroughly. So I'll take you to the next steps there. So in every session, what will happen is that administration we'll see. I don't think we'll have time to look at the administration part. But in every session, I would expect you to have a virtual machine like the one you're seeing on the screen. I would recommend you to have Hortonworks virtual machine. This is a Linux virtual machine running in your Windows 7 PC. So there is a connectivity tool. With that, you connect to the that Linux box. So with this, you can able to do hands-on with all the components I'm talking about. The Hive, Peak, HBase, Hue, Scoop, like that. You will be hands-on sessions for each of the components, and I will be giving you some use cases to work on in your weekend times. And the classes would be like from Monday to Friday if you are in a US region. If you're Indian region, that would be from Tuesday to Saturday mornings, Friday week. And typically we would be having around close to 19 or 20 sessions. It could vary depending upon your participation. It could even, if you are all enthusiastic, you can complete in 18 classes, or it might take 20 working classes. Right. So that is about the course content at a gross level. So let us look at the important concepts here. I'll just briefly touch upon. I'll not be going too deep into it. Now, if you look at the big data thing, if you want to quantify what you're trying to learn, this is called the 3V factor there. Big data is all about talks about data, but the data in 3 dimensions: volume dimension, variety, and velocity. So far, we are acquainted with the volumes. We know that I have a 1 GB of database, 10 GB of database, 1 terabyte of database. That is what you are seeing. But what if the same size database being created every day? In a month, you could easily accumulate 30 GB, right? So that dimension, the volume will get acceleration when it adds to the velocity. And what if we start thinking, so far I have only RDBMS kind of data where my data is a static one, means static structure. I have tables and columns. I know pretty much about tables and columns. But what if I add weblogs into the database, sensor data into the database, click streaming data into the database, the social media accumulation, agglomeration, if I want to add it to the database. So many new kinds of data which I never seen before, which is not supported in the existing RDBMS world. What if you want to add? These dimensions will have a 3V combination, will have a tremendous force, and the current generation systems are not capable of handling together. Not that Hadoop is only the player in the game, that's not true. But combining these 3 dimensions, it is like a tremendous force. Systems cannot able to handle like that. So there should be a different approach to deal with this emergence. So that's the reason we're talking about these dimensions together and looking for alternative systems. So in this game, Hadoop could be Hadoop is the only withstood leader in the last 7 years. Many systems came in and they couldn't tackle one of the other dimension here. They were good at volumes, but they were not good at variety, like that, vice versa. They were good at variety, but they were unable to cope with the velocity there, like that. So Hadoop stood at all these dimensions at ease in the last 7 years. So that's what we are learning Hadoop today. Now look at the landscape here. I'm just jumping on some slides here. I'll come back to the slides as and when the context is relevant to that. So I want to give a big picture in a quick time. Then I'll take time and elaborate them at ease. Is it fair? I want any questions so far?
No, Madhu, I think I'm fine with how it's going.
Okay. How about Sridevi, Shreyas?
Yeah, Madhu, good on that part so far.
You're able to follow me, right? Okay.
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
Thank you. So, since we talked about the 3V, velocity, variety, and volumes, the last this slide from last this slide was took it 5 years ago. This is the landscape for the big data. So the landscape talks about system should be able to cope up with the huge data. System should be able to cope with the analytics infrastructure. Should be able to cope with the structured ones that we might be familiar with that. Should be able to do the visualizations part of it. And again the BI, it's there for a while and keep emerging it. And system should be able to deal with the log based data and vertical apps. They are more like the dynamic apps. And system should be able to operational infrastructure. What does it mean? Operation infrastructure, the corporates would spend a lot of money on their log processing, on the arterial information processing, like that. That's all comes under operation infrastructure. Now they wanted to know how my applications are running, how my hardware is doing, when could be the failure. Those things they would like to know. Some MIS thing, monthly management information systems, they develop it around the operation infrastructure. So this is the initial objectives when people had when big data started as a big player in the when Hadoop started as a big player in the big data world. So underneath Hadoop, underneath the whole thing, they're all either they have built on top of the Hadoop or they have some association in terms of some compliance they have with Hadoop. They had a integration point with Hadoop or they had completely built on top of Hadoop. That was the landscape there. So you see handful of segments here on the big data. Each one is targeting a certain amount of business over here, business or the functionality here. But now look at the landscape here. So specialized and so crowded. That means that one proof that big Hadoop has been stabilized and it is offering quite power and efficiency to many of the vendors. Second thing is that you have no specialized areas now. Even if you take the earlier, the operational infrastructure here, this has split into multiple sections and got into specialization now. You could see that even if you take simple log processing, there are multiple standards here: Apache log standard, CEM log standard, and Windows based log standard. And each of it has their own products now. So to that extent, the industry is getting matured, and that's the reason you see more of specific products for your requirement. And not just the one, lot of tools around visualizations, a lot of real-time talk. If you look at this part like Spark, SumLogic, Datalog, they are real-time data sources. As and when data is created, you would like to process that.
Madhu, I have one more question.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, please.
You are saying that these are the actually these things are built on Hadoop, or like these things are associated with the Hadoop, like
associated. Mostly they didn't build on Hadoop. They're associated.
Okay.
But some products, let me pick up a product, is completely built on Hadoop. Just give me a second. Let me pull up a product which is built on Hadoop completely.
Okay.
I'm looking for a framework. Yeah, look at this part. These are all the offerings in the Hadoop. We don't have these many offerings earlier. If you look at the earlier slide, we don't have that specialized offerings here. Though they have Cloudera, Hortonworks are there in the analytics space, they didn't emerge as a full-blown products.
Okay.
Now, if you look at this thing, you have many products around it. Cloudera, Hadoop, Hortonworks, Mapper, Mortazar, JetSetter. Many things are there. And even here also, there are specialized tools on the analytics. These analytics talk about the business analytics. And the one we know from analytics world is that the data analytics. Sorry, the summary analytics. That's like, you have reporting thing every month and you're reporting nice graphing, you'll have it on the analytics.
Okay.
But this is new generation of analytics, they're coming up. And even the Vertica. Vertica is a tool, if you look at these are specialized databases. Healthcare specialized database Vertica will have integration with Hadoop. Like that.
Okay.
And if you look at these things, this part, data guys. This is completely built on top of Hadoop, data guys. This is like
what is data
importing.
guys? Actually,
Data guys is a security tool.
Okay.
Hadoop natively doesn't have corporate standard security, doesn't have it. It is a big framework, but doesn't have all the corporate needed security like,
okay.
Not just the authentication part, securing sources, encrypting it, isolating them, or obfuscating them, or then the scrubbing data. You would be hearing those things, right? Scrubbing of the PHA data.
Yeah.
Those things Hadoop native doesn't have, and it doesn't have native encryption. So database is the product that does all this enterprise needed requirements.
Okay.
Now, if you are in healthcare or in insurance or banking,
I worked on all these sectors. Like I'm a contractor, so I was floated around the different. I mean, right now I'm working in enterprise one, but previously I worked in Wells Fargo, which is a financial. Right. Before that, I worked in Visa, which is also a financial one, but I didn't work in health. But
right. So if you look at this product, is completely built on Hadoop. It is built for Hadoop.
Okay.
So like that. If you look at Netazza. Netazza is built on top of massive parallel computation background, but now that is moving away from that approach and plugging to the Hadoop. Right. And if you look at the Azure, these are the clouds here. So Azure is a cloud, but again Hadoop, Azure got connected to Hadoop, like that. So these two are like complementary, not that one is eliminating the other, not like that. These are complementary, and each one has a use case to deal with it.
Okay. And I can see in the open source project there is a mentioned tailend. What is the importance of tailend? Like I heard it's a kind of tool which works with the big data. The tailend. Can you see it?
Tailend, okay. You mean to say tailend, okay?
Yeah.
Tailend comes into the visualization. Where is the tailend here? Let me.
In the down part, the bottom.
Here.
Yeah. Can you go a little bit left? In the bottom.
Okay.
And no. It's in the bottom. It's in the bottom section next to
center
data.
bottom. Yeah, in the middle of the last one. Just come down, little bit down. Open source projects. Can you see the open source projects? Just underneath that.
Yeah, it's next to the data axis. Can you come a little bit down?
Give me a second.
It's beside the Strom. No, it's beside the Strom. You can see the Strom in the bottom line, right? It's left to that. In the bottom, in the Hadoop section, Madhu, you see the Strom on the right side. Yeah, beside that you see the talent here.
Got it. Yeah. So talent comes under the two things, ETL part.
Yeah.
Talent used to be ETL area, but now there are quite. Let me take up another part here. That will be clear. I want to find out where is Tableau here. Tableau should be here somewhere. Tableau. Tableau, yeah, here, Pentaho, this is the Tableau. So Tableau, this is the visualization layer here, means this is not something new for Hadoop. People were using these tools to generate reports on their MAS systems, like Pentaho, Tableau, Quid, and but there are many things are there here. I didn't capture all, but some of them only I captured it. So most popular one is Tableau, and you will also hear about QuickView, Jaspersoft. These are all the reporting tools. So these are with specialized reporting. You have a drag and drop kind of orchestration on the reports, but they are good at the RDBMS layers only, or the structured sources. But how about if you have huge unstructured data, how to deal with this? Then Tableau will have integration with the Hadoop. But this is not so easy. Then you should have a tool to transform data that could be consumed by a Tableau. That's when Talent comes into the picture. Talent become a kind of middle player in between that transforms data so that the reporting tools can able to consume it.
So does it only transform the structured data or else unstructured data too?
Unstructured data.
Okay.
Unstructured data.
Okay.
Unstructured means semi-structured, sorry, not unstructured, semi-structured data. Tableau cannot, Talent cannot transform the unstructured data because it's not meant for it.
Okay.
Hadoop does the partial job from unstructured to semi-structured, it does.
Okay.
From semi-structured to the structure, Talent can do.
Okay, so Hadoop transforms from unstructured data to the semi-structured data. Then we will use ETL tool to convert from unstructured data to the structured data to make
Right.
meaningful reports out of that.
Right, right.
Okay.
And also, not only that, this is one use case. Second is that Talent can also be used in the asset extraction, loading data into Hadoop from other systems.
Okay.
That also we can use it.
Mm-hmm.
So you see, the usage could be blurred out here. The reason is that one tool might be doing different things, but each one has a name to do. Tableau it could do the loading as well. It could even do the extraction as well. But primarily, the efficiency comes in the reporting.
Okay.
That's how it is.
Sir,
One more
can
tool I
you hear
would
me?
like to. Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yeah, please go ahead.
I was just trying to ask, how is this Hadoop will help in the career perspective? What kind of jobs we will be looking in? And do you know any major companies who is running Hadoop now?
Yeah, the good question. That is the next slide I have. Yeah. So let us look at the generic view of industry, how it is industry heading, what is adaptation level in the industry. Look at all major industries here, be it education, retail, transportation. We don't see any industry that has not adopted Hadoop so far, to some extent. This is a 2 years old slide, so this could have been much better now. I don't get the latest data. So the green one says that they have adopted, they tried it, somebody in trying mode, somebody experimenting it. So green one says that the already adopted, they are in production. So that's where it is. So that means if you look at even the huge IT industry, in all the segments, the Hadoop has been penetrated, and that's in production stage now. That means IT people will have more opportunities. You could be a developer, you could be administrator, you could be a business analyst, or you could be system analyst, or you could be a architect. In any of the role, you see a lot of potential when the industry is adopting the technology in this production category, right? So not that every technology goes into production offerings, right? There is a certain evaluatory phase requires for a technology to be as a production grade technology. So Hadoop passed that phase. It's in production now. So to name any big companies, I want to come back in a reverse way. I don't have any company that has not adopted Hadoop. If you want to track down from the first few in Fortune 500, almost all, I could say, with my even the vague knowledge, I could say the first 100 companies surely they have implemented the Hadoop, but the maturity level varies between company to company depending on the need and their expertise level. It might vary, but to say which ones have adopted more is healthcare is the one that adopted more, and next is the definitely next is the education thing. Banking is has some legal proceedings, so some compliance proceedings are still yet to be resolved, but that is also coming to picture. Second is the one that is taking Hadoop is the manufacturing industry to a great extent, and the retail industry. This is also retail industry predominantly wanted to get the analytics out of it. Healthcare industry primarily looking for cost reduction and their cost reduction part of it, because with Obamacare in place in US, earlier insurance companies allowed to have 6% profit margin, but now their margins have been crunched down. They're asked to have 3% margin, and rest they should spend back on the insurers or the members. So with that new mandate in coming years, you'll see companies have to spend more money. They reduce the plan cost, and they have to spend more customer-centric, member-centric offerings. So each industry taking the evolutionary path. So that's where we are in now, right? So coming to the job, let us look at the next slide. How this before I discuss about the job opportunities, let us look at the industry lookout. What the value the technology is going to bring into the industry. Currently, if any industry starting with a technology like Hadoop, they would like to see reporting, like what happened, what is there, what is the aggregate of it. Next evolutionary phase for the organization is that they would like to get into the analytics phase here. So when companies would like to adopt the Hadoop, they not like they want to replace everything with Hadoop. They would be implementing the Hadoop as a complement to the existing reporting or analytics systems. So most of the companies will have these two setups, reporting and the OLAP. Build a cube on top of it in some schema, and then identify the dimensions and do some reporting. There are nice tools like Pentaho, like Tableau, or if you doesn't have big licenses, you can even get up with SQL reporting services, Oracle reporting services, and many open source tools that can do the job in a simple way for basic requirements. Most of the organization will have, at least the big organizations. Next evolutionary path is that because this approach is there for almost 15 years, so companies have done a lot of expertise on it, so they want to move to next stage. What is the insight you're going to get? What is the pattern what is the pattern hidden in this? That investigation part has started. From that, they wanted to, before the investigation starts, they want to get into the dashboarding part of it. They want to have more of summarization part of it. This is called BA part of it. This is not actually BA. This is like reporting part. This is actually BA part of it, intelligence part of it. And third level is that picking up the pattern, getting the insight from this is the next evaluatory part for the organization. They would like to go into prediction, classification, clustering, so that they can get some meaning out of it, get some patterns, or they can apply to the business so that they get more profit or get competitive edge in this. That you would be hearing about these things. I don't need to talk about those things. So this is the evaluatory path. This is when Hadoop is promising a lot at a cost advantage. Had it not the case that Hadoop is at another system like Oracle, SQL, which doesn't bring in the real cost benefit, Hadoop would not have been so popular. One of the foremost thing in Hadoop is that power with cost, at affordable cost. It is 1/10 of if you take down the existing operation systems like any of the enterprise scale system. I'm not talking about a simple database here. Enterprise grade hardware, talking about Hadoop works out everything in 1/10 cost of it. Be it is a analytics job, be it is a reporting job, be it is a data marting, data warehousing kind of activity. Anywhere 1/10 of the cost. with all industry grade qualities. So that is what executives getting excited about the technology, right? So coming to the job market, one more slide I should have. Give me a sec. I think did I miss it? Let us look at this slide. Yeah, this is the one of the area which you're asking it. So what is the need in the industry in terms of big data or Hadoop is the not about the cost. Cost can be accommodated. The integration is accommodated. The need is that the staffing and training. The skill human resources are the need of the hour in the Hadoop industry. So that's when we see more value, right? Learning this technology has more value. And obviously, as you would be knowing it, the paychecks also would be higher and technology is in demand, right? So same experience level. This is the quite older. These figures would have been crossing 90 and 100K. But obviously what I meant to say is that you will have the advantage here, like what used to be for the SAP some years ago or Salesforce.com some years ago. Same, the wave is continuing for the Hadoop now, right? And so what is essential things you should learn in the Hadoop? What the things which will make you more distinguishable in the industry? Hadoop has many flavors, but if you could be a Java developer or you could be a simple developer doesn't have the Java background. If you are good at NoSQL concepts, if you're good at MapReduce, these things will give you better advantage over the others if you are in the Hadoop world. And then let's look at the roles what currently industry is offering now, right? Definitely for the roles like, if you are in leadership path, you could look at a managerial role, evangelist role, or architect role like that. On the other hand, if you are there in a developer activity, you could see many roles coming in data modeling, data quality, and ETL space. And in their specialization, in this their specialization, like you could be in a system side or you could be in development side. Both things are there. Huge potential in the system side. You could be a Hadoop administrator, you could be the cluster administrator, you could be the Linux native administrator, or you could choose to be a data scientist. Not at all in the system side, you could be in different world. Data scientist is new space emerging, right? Like that. And also, if you are keen on the core development, traditional development, yet want to harness the Hadoop power, you could still be like this. You could be in web development, like PHP, Java based one, .NET based web development, and still be working with the Hadoop like that. As a Hadoop become a kind of complementary at a consumption layer rather than Hadoop being a primary layer. That also can be, that is also possible now. And this is one of the area, if you ask me the question, this is the area that is giving more jobs nowadays. This is another area giving more jobs. These two are specialized ones. You don't see much openings here because on the need basis only the organization open up. But the circled ones are the ones you see more important, has a lot of openings nowadays. Did I answer your question?
Okay, yeah, I can understand now. So we really don't need to be in Java from before, like prerequisite for the Java before we start this Hadoop.
Exactly. It used to be one of the qualifier some time back, but not now, because that time you don't have much frameworks around Hadoop. So let us say, imagine if you want to get into software industry some 15 years back, what are the options you have? You have to learn C, C++ thoroughly, right? But the newcomers, do you think all have the same expertise level what you have in C the way back? No, many of them doesn't even know C, C++ to the extent needed. All that they need is either Java, .NET, some high-level languages. Similarly like that, Hadoop when it started, people was needed to be aware of Java, but it's not the case now, right? So that is about the big data part. And one more last slide I would like to leave here before we wrap up the discussion. what type of things will be more beneficial in the industry. In Hadoop also, not that everything is so fascinating there. So you don't see much scope for the application development, but as I earlier mentioned it, application developers will have scope, but not in the native expertise, but they need to tend towards data integration and then the business integrations, business intelligence. That's when organizations are moving towards. So slowly the development fraternity would transition into the business intelligence and the data integration things. And then the IT operations comes into picture. In the IT operations, operational intelligence is a big thing in the organization nowadays. That actually gives them insight about the operational health, the patterns, cost saving, semantics that would offer. So this is one slide will give you an idea that the traditional way of application development might not happen on Hadoop, but what will happen is that the more of the middleware part, the integrations, bringing up quality. If you have ever heard about a thing called MDM, Master Data Management, right? Talent is one tool like that. That is for it. Talent, other thing I forgot to mention, Talent, one other tool to do the MDM thing, Master Data Management. That is for the data quality, maintaining the master data records across the organization. So those are things. In BA also, Hadoop is meant for one of the core strengths Hadoop is business intelligence. That is one of the area will have more opportunities for you, right? So having said that, so what could be the course content? Let me quickly jump on. So Hadoop at a glance, these are the core things. The green ones are the core Hadoop components. This is called the actual Hadoop. Rest of all called ecosystems. Ecosystem, why the name came, if you look at Android phone or iPhone, the actual OS is either iPhone or Android. But the apps around iPhone, the apps around Android called ecosystem. What are the apps? Apps are specialized ones, many wide variety of apps, you see it, right? That is called ecosystem. Apps are built on top of a platform. Together they all form ecosystem. Ecosystem means not just the apps, the developers, the app funders, the app users, all are part of ecosystem. There is a huge demand for such a functionality, and one team or one guy recognizes the need, they develop an app. So the need, the emergence of need, the fulfillment of need, and the platform to fulfill the need, all part of ecosystem. So in Hadoop also we call this term being ecosystem all the time. The reason is that each are interlinked and interdependent all things, and each has a need. So these green ones are called Hadoop native, and Pig and Hive called the ecosystem components, but more popular ones. The most popular ecosystem components are Pig and Hive. Next comes is the HBase. And obviously there is a scoop and few are there I'll be discussing about. And you will have plenty of hands-on sessions before we move on to the next thing. I would like to give a pause to the discussion. Feel free to ask any questions, any clarification you would like to know.
Do you have the real-time data for doing the labs for the practice?
Yeah, real-time. Yeah, I do have. So my plan is that initially I'm talking about a concept. Let us say I'm talking about Hive. I give some basics to you, basic samples I give. Then I'll ask you to download. I'll give you some links where you can download yourself huge data sets. Then you can play around with that.
Okay.
Is that what you mean by real time, or are you looking for something else?
I mean, so yeah, how you practice in Java, as soon as you finish with the code.
Real time in the sense, the term real time has a different meanings. In Hadoop, you'll come to know real time is like, let me explain real time. I think you are questioning more about the practical data, right, rather than a simple hello world data, right?
Yes.
Okay. So real time, let me explain what is real time, what I'm coming from. Real time in Hadoop sense is that as and when that happens. That means today when web application is there that is producing logs, So as and when the web application produces lags, you should be able to process the data. That is what real time. But what in our course we do, that we can't achieve it because we don't have that infrastructure with us. We hardly have a VM. We can't do like that. But what we could do, we can take a meaningful practical data of a sizable data, not just hello world, and then play around with that. Right? Are you getting me, Mohammed? Am I clear to you?
Yes.